Press play. Good morning. Welcome to another morning moment. I hope you're doing well. One of my favorite stories is a story that I heard way back when I was in college. I remember I was watching a sermon on the television, and as I was watching this sermon, I remember the speaker. He was an older gentleman and he had a very strong French accent. And he was telling a story about three boys in the great city of Paris in France. And the three boys were playing on the grounds of the great cathedral of Notre Dame. And as they were playing on the cathedral, having fun, they decided to go into the cathedral. And they were just three boys playing during their summer holiday. And they were playing a game of dares, and they were daring each other to do different things. Now remember, the Cathedral of Notre Dame is a Catholic cathedral. And two of the boys dared the third boy to go into a confession box and to confess to a murder that had never taken place. Well, obviously the boy didn't want to do this. And so they put a wager on it. They put a little bit of money on it. And they sent this young lad into the confession box to confess to a murder that had never taken place. At first, the boy confessed to things that had taken place. Then he confessed to a couple of half-truths. And finally, he confessed to this murder that had never taken place. Now, the priest hearing the confession was a wise man. And he said to the boy this, "Son, with every sin, there is a penance." Now, obviously, as Protestants, we don't believe this, but the priest did. "With every sin, there is a penance. And this is what you must do. You are to go to the great altar of this cathedral where you will find Christ being crucified on the cross, a statue of Christ being crucified on the cross. And you are to say 3 times, 'You did all this for me, and I don't care. You did all this for me, and I don't care. You did all this for me, and I don't care.'" Sheepishly, the boy arose. He left the confession box and went back to his friends. And he turned around and he said, "Okay, I did what you told me to do. Give me my money. Let's get out of here." And the two other boys, they didn't want to give up the money. So they were asking, "What happened? What took place? What did you do? What did you say? What did the priest say?" And so he told the story. And the two boys, because they didn't want to give up the money, turned around and said, "You have to do what the Father told you to do." He didn't want to. He just said, "Give me the money. Let's go. Let's go. I did what you told me to do. Let's go." And he said, "No, if you want the money, you have to do what the Father told you to do." And so reluctantly, the boy went to the main altar of that great cathedral. He went down onto his knees when there was few tourists around as possible. And he looked up at the beautiful face of Jesus Christ on that statue being crucified on the cross. And he said, "You did all this for me, and I don't care." A second time, "You did all this for me, and I don't care." A third time, "You did all this for me." And that's when it hit him. And he rose from that altar. He turned around and he walked straight out of that cathedral, straight past his friends without even collecting the wager. And the story he told was that the next time he went into that great cathedral, he was an ordained minister. He was the old pastor telling the story about the three boys who went into the Cathedral of Notre Dame, just playing during their summer holidays. It's a great story because this man was an old man when I heard this story in the 1980s. And so I picture this account taking place in the 1920s or the 1930s. And I have in my mind this gentleman, this boy who went into that cathedral, just playing around, just having fun with his friends like boys do. But on that day, it hit him how great God loved him. And when he realized how great God loved him, it cut him to the heart, and he was converted, absolutely converted right there and then. My favorite passage of scripture, Martin Luther called this a gospel in a sentence. John chapter 3, verses 16 and 17. "For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, Jesus Christ, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but to save the world through him. No matter what you're involved in now, no matter what you have done in the past, no matter what happens in the future, God gave his Son for you, that you may always point to the cross, accept that gift, and live for eternity in a much better place. I pray that God blesses you this week, that God blesses you, your loved ones, your family, your friends, and that you remember that you are loved, so greatly loved that God gave his Son for you. God bless you, my friends. Remember, smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe. God bless you. Goodbye.